watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. As world leaders descend on Brazil for COP30, the climate debate is shifting from Europe's new willingness to buy billions in carbon credits to Bill Gates arguing that the real crisis isn't emissions but human suffering. Joining us to comment and analyze these competing visions for the planet's future is Mikołaj Gumulski, energy and climate campaigner, Greenpeace Poland. Thanks so much for coming by to the studio. Welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
So it's 2 weeks of these climate discussions. They were opened yesterday. Let's just roll a clip of the UN Secretary General, Mr. Guterres. What he had to say at the opening. Let's roll that for our audience now.
Temporary overshoot between the 1.5 limit, starting at the latest in the early 2030s, is inevitable. We need a paradigm shift to limit this overshoot's magnitude and duration and quickly drive it down. This is moral failure and deadly negligence. What is still missing is political courage. It's no longer time for negotiations. It's time for implementation, implementation, implementation. The challenge is immense, but the choices are clear. No one can bargain with physics, but we can choose to lead or be led to ruin. Choose to make Belém the turning point, stand with science, stand for justice, stand for future generations, and I thank you.
All right, so powerful words there. I heard implementation, that it's about moral failure, deadly negligence, so quite emotional words here. So, but do they fit with the reality right now? Do you think that people and leaders present at the summit will listen to that?
Yes, Antonio Guterres spoke about our reality. The facts are that climate is changing, and it's changing fast. It's leading us to the real crisis, and crisis which has many consequences on our lives. Recent year we had big floods in Poland, and climate scientists say that this happened because of climate change. Because climate change makes situations like this much more dangerous to people, to our homes, and yeah, climate change is still a real threat. We have to remember about it and try to minimize the consequences, which could be a real danger to all of us. Mm-hmm. Also here in Europe.
Okay, so you're saying it's a threat, but at the same time, there are certain countries and very high-level campaigners who disagree with that, disagree with the science. One, perhaps a surprise recently, has been Bill Gates. Now, I'm going to just share also what he said, saying that we shouldn't be focusing so much on the climate crisis anymore. I mean, this is one of the world's richest men who's been previously very much, through philanthropic causes, very much involved. Let's hear what he had to say about all this.
Fortunately for all of us, this view is wrong. Although climate change will have serious consequences, particularly for people in the poorest countries, it will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. Emissions projections have gone down, and with the right policies and investments, innovation will allow us to drive emissions down much further.
Okay, so we have a very different view. It sounds almost very optimistic. Everything's fine. So what do you make of his comment here? What do you think that changed his mind, perhaps? And if we have these two competing visions of what Guterres said, the Secretary General, and now one of the world's richest men, which one is more correct? Which one should we follow?
So firstly, we should remember that Bill Gates also said in that same text that we need to continue on climate action and make much more progress with energy transition. So he didn't said that we need to abandon it or something like that.
But he made a very much more milder case that
yes.
things are going to be all right than the head of the United Nations.
Yes, that's true. if you don't have to trust Bill Gates or Antonio Guterres, but there are people who you can trust, and these are scientists, especially scientists from the IPCC, who dedicate their lives to study climate change and its consequences on our civilization. And they say that climate change is made by humans. It's a big threat, and we have to do something about it, because consequences of this will be felt by billions of people. There will be problem with water scarcity. There will be due to that there will be more social unrest. There will be more general problems in the society. Droughts, wildfires, these are real consequences, and scientists say that we need to take care of that. And lastly, even if you don't, in the Polish context, even if you don't care about what Bill Gates or Guterres say, the reality is that in Poland we have to go for energy transition, and we have to do that because in the next 10 years, coal power plants will be almost gone. So we need to something to replace them. Mm-hmm. And the crucial question is if it will be gas power plants or wind, solar, battery storage and solutions like that. We need to go for renewable energy sources because they give us independence. Mm-hmm. So, if you don't want to talk about climate and care about it, fine. But still, we need to go for energy transition despite the views on climate.
But at the same time, even as you said, I want to comment on two things. One on the European side, but first let me ask you, because there is that science, as you said, there are those bodies of evidence, there is that which many countries are considering. But yet, if it is on such a high level, I mean, we have these climate conferences quite often. We sometimes get a sort of semi-agreement, but it's not really carried out. Even at this gathering, even already, there aren't that many leaders. And if we look at the attendance, I mean, some of the main leaders, not just the United States, Trump isn't there. You have an absence of India. You have an absence of leaders from China. I mean, these are major emitters, right? So what, if anything, does that say about the seriousness of a gathering like COP30? Let me just get your view on that.
So I really believe that COP gatherings already gave us a lot. For example, Paris Agreement is a real big milestone, and they are still important. But the most important works. Work is taken is done in different countries or on the in the entities like European Union. And when we look at that work, you, for example, mentioned China. Yes, we can see from the data that China now is leading the world in energy transition. It is the country which invests the most money in renewables. It's the country which leads the way in, for example, EVs, electric vehicles, mm-hmm. And also in technologies like battery storage. So there is a lot being done on the specific country levels. Mm. And we also, as Europeans, need to follow that.
Speaking of Europeans, I want to get on that really briefly because I know on time. Now, speaking of carbon credits, I mean, this is also something the EU has been big on reducing emissions by 90% by 2040. But at the same time, there's a huge boost now of offsets, carbon credits. So isn't that just outsourcing pollution somewhere else? Is this what do you make of the whole carbon credits right now?
So it's exactly like you said. It's something like paying someone and saying that now it's their problem to do something about this emissions. I really think that it's not the good way, because we are essentially paying someone for them doing projects like, I don't know, taking care of their forests. Why can't we, as for example Poland, take care for our own forest and thanks to that achieve that decarbonization? Why can't we, for example, as Poland, develop wind, solar and battery storage to lower our energy bills and to become more independent from fossil fuel imports? I really don't see a point there.
At the same time, that's also something controversial. The UK just pulled out right before COP30 of actually a huge scheme to put in billions in trying to save forests. That's been causing some ruckus in Brazil. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Look, we appreciate your time here.
Thank you very much.
Mikołaj Gumulski there from Greenpeace. Much appreciated. And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but there's much more right here on TVP World, so don't go away. Goodbye.